several fighters have broken off from the main group. Come with me.
Hello, welcome to another video. This is one that I'm really pleased to be doing because this is the first time I've kind of realized my dream of getting my Vader helmet together with both his wingmen, which is Backstabber here, and on the right we have Mauler. And a big thank you to David from SW Movie Props, Star Wars Movie Props, because he's done a really fantastic job on these helmets. Just to let you know that this one here, which for those of you who saw my recent video, you'll know that this is the latest of my TIE Fighter pilot helmets, is actually got some, well, improvements and modifications. So we're just going to talk about what those are today and kind of compare the two and generally see how this beautiful helmet has been improved. Okay, so I've just got these side to side now, and we're just going to go over a couple of the points and the improvements that have been made. Firstly, there are on the Mauler there are new ear sculpts, which are sharper. They seem to just be more flush to the pilot dome. They seem to be smoother. Here, the 3 points on the earcon piece are sharper, more pronounced, so there's a bit of a tighter pull there. One of the main things which is a real step forward is, although it doesn't show up, I don't know, maybe it does, I don't know, you tell me, but it's recently been discovered that the Imperial Cog Logos for a very long time are believed to have been white. Now, that actually is not the case, and it has been proven recently that they were in fact kind of a dull silver. So I'm sure it probably won't show up, but this Imperial Cog logo here is actually silver, and it's a kind of a mottled silver. It's not reflective, it's kind of matte, so it's probably why it's not showing up. The other thing that's different about this helmet is, I'll just have to turn this around face on, is that the pilot dome, because basically a TIE Fighter pilot is a black Stormtrooper faceplate coupled with a black X-Wing fighter pilot helmet. And the improvements here, and I'll just turn this one around a bit so you can get a bit of a better look. The pilot hemispheres are wider, and also you can see here there's no space there at all. It's quite flush, as I said in my previous video, quite flush to the faceplate. But here on this one, there's actually a lot more. Did you see that? You can go right in there, and same on the other side. Now that's more screen accurate. That's more screen accurate. And also the other improvements that have been made are the mohawk has changed slightly. It's been lowered slightly. I don't know if you can see that. This is Backstabber, my original tie from a few months ago. And so you've got a wider pilot hemisphere, a lower mohawk. Also, the hoses are different as well. Now, these are the soft rubber gas mask hoses, and these ones here are hard vinyl with a inner coil of wire. There's no wire in these, they're just soft. I personally prefer these. Obviously it's entirely up to your own personal preference, but for me personally, I prefer the rubber ones. Those are an addition. They didn't actually come with the helmet. So moving on. Now you may be thinking, oh, what's happened here? Now that is actually screen accurate. That's known as the pie slice Imperial Cog decal. Vader's wingman, who was on Vader's left, on screen on our right, he had, I don't know the reason for this. If anybody does, maybe you want to leave a message below. but it had a section missing. As you can see, he's got silver tubes here, cheek tubes, and obviously Backstabber have these silver widow's tears here, which I really, really love. The Mohawk, I'll just turn this around a minute. Now, the Mohawk Urabesh is slightly different on both. That's obviously screen accurate. We're just going to talk a little bit more about some of the differences as well. And one of the main things that I think is a vast improvement on this helmet, bearing in mind that it is from fresh sculpts and it's a new tighter pull for various reasons, is the wideness of the two halves of the pilot helmet. It's wider, and that gives it, for me personally, a much more screen accurate feel. I mean, they're both beautiful helmets, don't get me wrong, this one is beautiful, but this one just you know, pips it at the post for me personally. Now let's talk about some other differences. Now the Mohawk on the new version is very, very slightly wider. I don't know if you can see that. Just try and, okay. So there you go, you can see that. It's probably about a centimetre wider, and it's a little bit lower, and I think that really adds to the authenticity, the screen accurate look of this piece. Now for me personally, one of my favourite scenes in all of the Star Wars films is the trench run, the Battle of Yavin. What I find really exciting about it is you probably remember the bit at the beginning of the video when he says, you know, several fighters have broken off from the main group, come with me. And these are obviously not only his wingmen, but these are probably his own personal pilots, his own personal bodyguard. And I find that really, really exciting. I mean, even as a kid in the 70s watching it, I knew, you know, things are getting serious if Vader's going out there himself. And I think his main role as, obviously, an elite pilot with a history of being an ace, you know, an ace pilot, it's their jobs to basically just protect him so he can get on with the business in hand and dispatching the rebels, stopping them from being a threat. And, you know, they just hang back, and they allow him to just deal with the problem. And that's what I really love about it. In fact, I don't think in the end scene they actually fire their weapons. I think it's just, you know, let's leave it to the boss, the big man, let's just hang back and let him get on with it. I really love that scene for those reasons. I'm just going to talk a little bit about their positioning now. Okay, so I'm just going to discuss this with the aid of some little models here. What I really like about the trench run at the end is that his wingmen are positioned kind of one craft apart and one sort of craft behind. So when they're flying down the trench, anybody who comes up and tries to bother Mr. Vader from behind, I'm sure he would have dispatched, or his wingmen rather would have dispatched them to allow him to just get on with the business in hand. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you want to like and subscribe, it's much appreciated. Anybody who's watching this, thank you very much. I'll see you soon. May the Force be with you, and I'm on the leader.